If you're looking for a bright and versatile light for video, then you need to check out the Neewer CB200B. This is a super powerful bicolor LED light that has a Bowens mount, and it also has a really great bracket for mounting it. And it's going to give you a ton of flexibility in all your different video projects, however you're deciding to light them. Now, I do want to say Neewer sent me this light for purposes of making this review, but they have not told me anything to say in this. All the content and thoughts in this video are my own. When you open it up, there's really not that much that comes in the light. It's pretty basic. You get the light, you get a hyper-reflector, and you get an IEC cable that's decently long. This is really neat because the power supply for the light is actually built straight into the light, so you don't have to worry about dangling one of those power bricks for the light stand. The first two things you'll need to invest in after you get this light is a high-quality C-stand, and you'll also want a softbox of some sort. Right now I'm using it with my Neewer stand, and I'm also using it with a glow lantern softbox. What I love about the lantern is it does a great job at spreading light everywhere, so you don't have to worry about the angle of light quite as much as you have to when you use a standard softbox. So this light is a 210 watt light. You get a ton of power with it. And what's interesting about it is you get several different buttons on the back, so you can adjust the brightness, you can change the color temperature from 2700 Kelvin all the way up to 6500 Kelvin. And you can activate the booster mode and a couple other different features on the light. What's interesting about the light is it's a 210 watt light, but it operates in 60 watt mode unless you turn the booster mode on. And the boost is going to greatly increase your light output, but you will notice that the temperature of the light gets a lot higher and the fans can kick on every once in a while too. Now, I didn't have any issues with noticing fan noise when I left the light on and turned it on the high power mode for a long amount of time. So I don't think that these fans are going to be an issue for most people at all. But I will say when I went to adjust the actual light, I did notice the temperature can get kind of warm because it is running at such a high power and the power supply is built straight into the light. So on the back of the light, you do get several buttons to control it. You can also pair it with your phone through Bluetooth. And then this is really nice because you can adjust the color temperature and the brightness on your phone. You can turn the light off and on. You can set different scenes up with your other Neewer lights as well. Right now, I'm actually using the CB100C, the color light, to light up the background behind me. And then I'm using my Neewer CB200B as my main key light in front of me. I'm running it at 5500 Kelvins, so I'm going for that daylight color temperature. What's nice is depending on the different lighting you have in a room, you can use the app, you can match the color temperature of the room. That way you can just add to the existing room light rather than be stuck with just daylight or an incandescent color temperature. So that's where the bicolor nature of the light comes in handy. You'll also notice that the light has a very high CRI of about 97, so it's going to do a great job at rendering all the different skin tones. And I also just leave this light on a lot of times whenever I'm working on projects in my office because it does a great job at filling up the space with light. If you're interested in checking out this light or my favorite light stands and other accessories to use with it, check the links in the description below. A couple of other things to note about the light. The whole light has a really high quality feel to it. And I love the way that the yoke works because there's only one knob that you have to worry about for adjusting the angle of the light itself. And then on the bottom of the yoke, you get a slot for putting it on a baby pin. So this is going to work great on any light stand that has a baby pin. Now, I will recommend using this with the C stand and also getting a sandbag for it as well, just to act as a counterbalance because this light is pretty big and heavy. Also on the actual light, you do get a slot for an umbrella. So if you don't want to use a full softbox, you can always just use an umbrella, which has a much smaller footprint. A few other things to note about the light, you do get the buttons that can allow you to change the CCT. You can also activate different effects like flashing lights and stuff like that. I don't really find those to be super useful for my style of videography, but you might enjoy using those. And you can also pair it to your phone using Bluetooth. This is going to allow you to connect it with other lights as well. Then you can control the brightness, adjust the color temperature all from your phone. And I also really like that the light has a very large screen on the back, super easy to see what all the different settings are currently set to. And you also get an oversized knob. It's very tactile for adjusting both the brightness and the color temperature of the light. Typically, I'm not a huge fan of bicolor lights because I find that a lot of times they can suffer from some different color casts and other issues in terms of just the way that the whites look on the light, but I haven't had any issues in terms of color reproduction with the CB200B. I feel like it's really accurate, it's really pleasing for both skin tones, and when I've used it on product shots and B-roll for a couple of other videos I've been shooting as well. I feel like this light is going to be a great option for anyone who wants a ton of power and versatility in their light. And if you want to build out a set of multiple lights, the Neewer ecosystem is going to be a great option for you because they have several different bicolor lights, a couple color lights as well. They're all going to pair really well using that Neewer app. So I do highly recommend the Neewer CB200B. I'm going to be using this for a lot of upcoming shoots because you do get so much versatility in terms of the amount of power that the light has. and the ability to get accurate color temperatures all the way from 2700 Kelvin up to 6500 Kelvins. This light typically retails for anywhere from $250 to $280, and I feel like it's a really great buy for both the amount of power and all the features that you get in the light. I love that you can run it in the lower power 60 watt mode like I am right now if you don't need the huge light output on it. Or if you're lighting a group podcast or a larger video interview of some sort, you might find that you want to run it at the higher power mode to be able to light an even larger area. It does feel like a decent amount of high quality. It feels like there's some metal parts, some plastic parts as well, but it's about on par with any other video light I've ever owned in terms of quality of the body of the light itself. I really only have a couple small complaints with this light. The first is you don't get a case with it, so depending on how you like to transport your lights, you will want to get a case of some sort. The light feels durable enough, I just really like to have my equipment protected when I'm going on the road with it. The next con, I did find the light has a Bowens mount that works really well, but sometimes it can feel a little bit tight to get the modifier clicked into place. Your mileage may vary and it might loosen up a little bit over time, but just be careful when you get the Bowens mount on to make sure that whatever modifier you're using is fully seated on the light. The last con is the yoke works really well. It's easy to adjust the angle on it, but since there's just one knob on one side of the yoke, you do want to make sure that you get it really tightened down so that the light doesn't sag any under the heaviness of a modifier that you're using with it. The CB200B is going to be a great option when you need flexibility and power to light either a small interview, a small shot like I'm doing right now, or if you want to light up a bigger area as well, because you get so much power in one convenient package with it. And I also really love all the different lights Neewer's coming out with. I've been able to test a few of them out. I found that they all pack a lot of punch in both value and the features they give you, really accurate color temperatures as well. So if you have any other questions about the CB200B, leave a comment down below. I'll do my best to answer them. Like this video, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any upcoming content. If you want to buy this light or any of the other modifiers, stands, or accessories I recommend, check the links in the description below. Also, be sure to check out my review of the Neewer CB100C, which is an RGB light that pairs really well with this, and is how I'm lighting the background of this shot right now.